is a word often considered a synonym of wealthy. My impression is that rich has a different origin than the concept of wealthy. Because whereas wealthy feels to me to have the meaning of having much wealth, having wealth, and the more wealth one has, the more quantity of money, of currency, of wealth one has simply by increasing the amount of wealth, one is wealthier. However, rich has another meaning. It means, what does it mean? I understand it as varied with different features and characteristics and perspectives, as in something that is perhaps just a single thing, like a perfectly uniform stone. A stone. This is what I'm trying to say at. Rich seems to me almost that the meaning I prefer for rich has like an opposite, almost an opposite meaning to simple. Simple being just describable in few terms, as in it carries less information. That's how I see simple. As in, for example, this ball over here. This ball over here seems to me to be fairly simple. Well, it is dirty now, or it's not dirty. It has food remains from this morning. It is fairly simple. It is a single color, a single material, or two perhaps, the one inside and then the glaze around it. It's a single color. It's all around it's the same, ignoring the food remains. It's quite simple. It's there's a little white circle here and IKEA writing. It's simple. It's not hard to describe. It's understandable. It doesn't carry much information. This geometric shape, along with all the materials inside of it, it's not that hard to conceptualize, to subsume in our cognition. That is what I mean by simple. Whereas rich, on the other hand, is something that carries a lot of information, that can be more complex, that can be more varied, that can be of multiple colors, of multiple sounds, with multiple purposes, with multiple frequencies. a simple sound is perhaps one that's just like just a human voice, single note, single volume, does not change much. And then if you want to go purely simple, then you go to just a single frequency. Human voice has already some kind of richness. And then if you want, if I use the base of richness as of simplicity, I can then make it richer simply by adding in more information, like oh, I changed the tone and the volume. I only meant to change the volume. Again. I changed the tone again. But anyway, that was just adding richness simply in volume. Simply going a little louder, a little softer, a little louder, a little softer. And I already added richness to the sound. It is more complex. How much information does one need to encode that? It is more information. And then I can also change the tone and then I already added richness there by add more richness by changing the frequencies and the volume at the same time. And then sometimes not having a sound with silence, and that just made it richer. How much information does one need to encode that in comparison to just going louder and softer? With louder and softer, I can simply have a little timeline. I say, oh, okay, volume here, there's, I don't know, 5 of volume, and then here it just got 7, and then there's 2, and then there's 5 again. It's a simple number if one encodes it like that. And then when one includes frequency, then one would need to have more information for that, more descriptors. And perhaps silence could be encoded by volume 0. And so on. And that was just one sound, a vowel sound, just one of them, where I could have gone with ooh, and then I can make other sounds that are more like what are they, guttural and dental, like all the sounds. And if I include all those sounds, then it's richer, because it has so much more information. It has more information. That's how I see it. Richness increases with increased information. And I recognize that just adding in more information, especially in a unintentional way, it just it tends to make it more complex and complicated, where it does not just have more information, but it's also like it can become dissonant information that doesn't quite match with each other. I get the feeling that complicated and rich have a similar meaning, but one has the connotation that, like complicated, that is not quite easy to, that it's dissonant. It doesn't make a whole, and it doesn't make a coherent whole, but it's rather just more information. It can be a mess. My room can be a freaking mess. Stuff littered all over the place. I have no idea what's going on there. And it has a lot of information. I would call that complicated. Whereas I feel rich, it's similar. It has more information. I'm feeling the connotation that I associate with rich is one of coherence. Having more information, but it's coherent. That is the meaning I associate with rich. It is not wealth. Wealth is just amount. The more amount of wealth, the wealthier. Richness does not work that way. With my definition, rich. I feel I can see how it could have originated from a similar. How it could have originated from the meaning that I prefer. Because someone who is the way I see it, wealth goes where there is energy. There's energy or attention being poured in from others in society. Others have enough energy or attention on me, and it's attention of the kind that attractive kind, I would say. And then they want to be attracted. They are attracted to it, and then and then that can lead to them just to wealth being poured in that person's direction. Because then, say if I'm taking the example that I am the person with that I'm attracting energy and attention, then others will probably want to have something I have or am, or to spend time with me, or to get the services, get the skills I have. I have a skill. And then another person was like, oh, I super need that skill. I need that skill. I want that skill. Then they have an attraction to me. And then to get that skill, they sometimes offer, they barter. They say, okay, I really want that skill. Can you please fix my sink? And I'll give you money. Assuming a world where that were a fairly rare skill. Then I'd say, oh, okay, yeah, I have the skill. I can go fix your pipes. And then I get money in return. And if enough people want that skill, then I can just give them money in return. My skill. I give my skills and I get wealth. Because wealth it's what's used for barters. That's wealth. Whether it be money or something, or cows. I'm gonna put this food somewhere else. Food. Wealth. Yes. I see that it's similar with all kinds of wealth. Well, there's all these musicians or artists who sometimes their popularity just rises, and then that's where the internet is going. That's popularity. Everyone is going, oh my God, Britney Spears. Oh my God, she's so cool. Oh, I love her songs. She sells CDs. I'm gonna grab all the CDs and I'm gonna listen to her all the time. I'm gonna be watching her on video, and then video platforms like YouTube, they realize, oh, the attention is going towards her. Okay, there is value there, and then they habilitate the platform so that some of the energy and attention and wealth is directed towards the artist, and then the artist has a motivation to post more. That she's like, oh, or she or he is like, oh, I can get wealth here. I can get energy and attention on this platform. Well, I make more, and then the platform lubricates the association between the people who want to give their energy and attention and their listening time or their viewing time to these people, and these people make more, so that it's flowing both ways. Content goes this way, wealth, energy and attention and wealth goes this way, because the internet economy is working these days like that. Any case, that's wealth. So I'm going from richness to wealth. Right. So usually, in my impression, energy and attention is naturally attracted to that which is new. New is a very basic one. then there's useful. If it's useful, I'm also interested in it. Yeah, I would say that's it. New and useful. Usually we are driven by curiosity or by utility. I would say even utility can be considered a form of curiosity. Because usually in the case of utility, I have a problem. Meaning I am in a state that I don't want to be in. And I want to get to the state where I'm okay being. And to do that, there needs to be some kind of action, some utility that moves that state. And in a way, the curiosity I'm referring to is the interest that I have, my curiosity of being in a state that I actually want to be in. Curiosity doesn't really work that way. It's like a search for novelty and stability. Yeah, I think search for novelty and search for stability. And I will say novelty because why? New things are attractive. Like the first time that drone videos and drone pictures started coming out, I was very interested in it. I was looking at it and like, wow, I had never seen the city from that perspective before. That's very cool. I had never seen the Northern Lights from that perspective before. That's very cool. Just perspective, new perspective. There was novelty there. And I was curious and looking at it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's like that. And my brain was making all these associations and finding new patterns of, okay, this is what it's like. And now I absorb a lot of that. And now when I see drone pictures, years after they have been around, I no longer feel like I must look at it. Like maybe a little, because if there's a new kind of place I haven't seen, I don't know, like a tundra or a desert from the drone, and it's somehow new to me, then I'll put my energy there for a while. Yeah, new kind of music, they attract people. There's resonance. Resonance attracts. But what I'm getting at is that this novelty, especially novelty because it's so primal, I feel, when something's new, like our beings are just like, what is that? Something unexpected. We give our energy and attention to. And the novel tends to be found among the rich, among that which holds a lot of information and is coherent, and is a coherent thing. Not that it's just a mess, because I can look at a mess and realize, oh yeah, that's a mess. It's very new, and I don't care about it because it doesn't resonate. It's not a coherent whole. However, if I see something that is new and that I had not seen before, then it's likely in the realm of the rich to that time, to that setting, because it has more information. We are attracted to information we didn't know. We didn't know it, then we see it and we'll go, what is that? And then we can express our interest or disinterest, that's fine. But novelty, it's quite an attractor. So anyway, my feeling is that the pure novelty have been the debate for people to like pay attention to something, and then having it be a coherent thing, the rich thing that is attracting, that keeps our attention there, because we feel, oh yeah, if it's coherent, then maybe there's something I can absorb also in a coherent manner. Because usually we like the things that are inside of us to be coherent, and then we find something else that is coherent. We feel, oh, maybe there can be meld in there to increase our coherence, to expand our model, and we could Well, and that's learning. And that's learning the way I see it. So rich, yeah. So my point is, it is usually the rich which attracts attention. Mind you, I'm not saying the wealth is what attracts attention, it's the rich that attracts attention. Mm-hmm. And the way I see it is that before rich was used for as a synonym for wealthy. I don't know if there was such a time, but if there was a time, I can imagine that people who were wealthy, who had somehow accrued a lot of wealth, also had probably rich patterns of behavior, rich structure inside themselves, simply a rich being, and that can make it also that they had very specific preferences for things. Like at some point there came all this whole thing about plates needing to be in a certain way, and the small and the large and the cutlery in different ways, and just the houses of the wealthy tended to be rich. Probably because whatever features that collaborated to their richness of being were also expressed in their preferences, and we're also interested in manifesting into the world and expressing into the world these rich features that these people had. And then perhaps these people who had like a lot of began to have like luxurious looking things, which is also a rich, it can be a rich array of things along the house, were also wealthy. Usually because also wealthy have the time and the energy and wealth to spend on looking at such complexities. Because to those who are not wealthy and who are in reactive mode, in survival mode, looking for survival and utility only, the richness of things is unnecessary. The richness of reality can be stripped down and brought down to a single dimension of perhaps things like food, water, warmth, and shelter. And then that can be projected into a single linear scale for each of them, and then that's all my life. That's all I need. And people can survive very well like that. It's not a rich representation of reality. Because reality, the world is very, 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 very rich all around. It just takes time and intent to recognize that richness. Yeah, in my experience, yes, it does take energy. To go from not recognizing richness to recognizing richness, there is a process of of noticing the subtle. Yes. That is why the word rich has a meaning that I prefer and a meaning that I don't prefer. I prefer the meaning of rich to mean with much complex in the information sense. No. That contains complex information and forms a coherent whole. Yes. It leaves the definition of coherent outside. And that seems sufficient.